You take the clothes off my back and I let you. You steal the food right out my mouth and I watch you eat it. I still don't know why I love you so much. Oh, you curse my name in spite to put me to shame. Hang my laundry in the streets, dirty or clean. Give it up for fame, but I still don't know why I love you so much. Yeah.
Hey, my name is Damian Benitez. We're here at Top of the Line Barbershop in Hyde Park, Mass. I have the pleasure of having Eric Harrison and Marcelous here at the barbershop. We're going to have a conversation today. This is brought to you by ExpressYourPerspective.com. So Eric, tell me a little bit about yourself and EYP.
I started this probably about 6 years ago after I wrote my book, Life's Twist. Express Your Perspectives, the basis of it is being able to create an environment where people can truly express who they are in any way, shape, or form, whether it is through writing or music or even what you do, you know, in the barbershop.
Does this have anything to do with your the actual book that you wrote?
Well, actually it does. This company stemmed from the book. So my book, Life's Twist, really deals with the last 8 years of my life. I had some crazy stuff happen just before, I wrote the book. Number one, my mom had just passed from pancreatic cancer. Number two, I had just lost my consulting gig, and money wasn't flowing through the house properly. Number three, I had 3 teenage boys. Need I say more?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then things really wasn't vibing between me and my wife. So with all those things going on, I would stay up late night, eat a lot, do a lot of things that I really did not need to do, gained a lot of weight, and then one fateful night, just like y'all would do for one of y'all boys, if you see somebody burning the candle at both ends, you're like, hey man, come on out, man. We need to, show you some love. So we went out, I had my beer, I'm sitting there vibing, the music was good, and then all of a sudden, man, I had a crazy, feeling in my chest. It wound up being a heart attack. I got to the hospital. By the time I got to the hospital, they said if I got there 3 minutes later, I'd have been gone. So that's where the title of the book, Life's Twist, comes from, because that was a life's twist. Sometimes you don't make the decision to retreat. Life will make that decision for you. I'm gonna say that again. Sometimes you don't make that decision to retreat. Life will make that decision for you. The only thing that got me right was to pick up that pen and start to write on that paper and just to pour my feelings, my heart, and my spirit out on that paper. And as I did that, that was the therapy that brought my mind back and let me know who I was, what my purpose is, what I needed to do, and then how I was going to do it.
Yeah. We also have the privilege of speaking to Marcelous Atmore here from Express Cuts 1018. Tell us a little bit about Express Cuts 1018 and about yourself and what you do.
So, kind of like you said, and similar to what you do, I'm also in the barber business. Barbershop with a twist though. So we don't necessarily have a barbershop. What we do that's slightly different is that we go to our clients. So we go to their environment, we turn different spaces into like that barbershop feel. So what we do now, we'll go to like different colleges, we'll go to different businesses throughout the city, and we'll take like a student center, we'll take like a conference room, and I'll bring like a few barbers with me, and we'll set up a shop, basically right there on the premises.
Nice.
One of the key parts of the business is that I wanted to be a one-stop shop for men's grooming. So it's that I wanted to teach people about different aspects of haircuts and the health aspects of it too. So we'll blog about that stuff so people can learn about it. We also sell different products on our website too. So we have like different beard balms, beard oils, face scrubs and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, we provide the haircut. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything men's grooming related. So people don't have to go anywhere else to get it. Everything is under one roof.
You really get into your whole health holistically, and then it manifests on the outside, and you really want to take care of yourself on the outside as well, then man, you're whole, you're total. And both of you guys offer a service that, you know, kind of helps the man to be a total man in every way, shape, and form.
Absolutely.
Because the other thing that I know you provide is the amazing conversation, the laughs, you know what I'm saying, the therapy. So now that I've told you all about my story and everything about me, there's no way I'm gonna let y'all get away without telling me what's up with y'all. Because I know that you guys have something that's interesting that everybody wants to hear.
Like I said, I come from New York, went to boarding school. This is around, 2004, I want to say. Started experimenting with the clippers because there's no barbershops around. Fast forward to when I go to college, I'm kind of like the college go-to barber now. You know what I mean? People see me cutting my hair in the bathroom. They're like, you know what, you do a pretty good job. I got my Caesar down packed, you know what I mean? People like, you know, I want a Caesar from him. I give out Caesars now. I did one design and one design only. So yeah, at that point, cutting hair is more of just something that I do. It was more therapeutic. It was something that could save me money because, you know, I'm not paying for a haircut every other week or something like that. It still hasn't taken hold of like, this is something that I can make money on. Fast forward again to where I'm like out of school, I'm working professional right now, and my mindset is focused on being an accountant. You know what I mean? I went to school for accountant. I want to be an accountant. I don't want to be an accountant. That's paying the bills, and that's what I'm going to do.
Wow.
2016, October 17, I get an email from one of the partners of the firm saying that, you know, he wants to meet the next day. Don't know what the meeting is about. He just says you got to meet the next day morning. So I'm like, okay. Not really nervous because I never really had a situation like this happen before, but I'm just like, okay, it happens. Walk into the office next day, he says that we're going to be letting you go from the firm immediately. Effective immediately, I just lost my job that day. This is October 18th, 2016. So I immediately left the office. I went on a 3-mile walk that office is in Back Bay, Massachusetts. I was living in Roxbury at the time. I think that's about 2.5 miles walk. Just walked home. I went through a range of emotions of like being sad, angry. At some point I was kind of happy because I didn't like the job, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like scared of what's going to happen in the future. And I just didn't know, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know what happened, but someone else had asked me for a haircut either like a day or two after that. You know, like, you know what? I never charged any of my friends for a haircut because again, I'm not licensed. I didn't feel it was right to do so. So I charged this one person and I was like, I'm going to make this a business. I'm going to make what I've learned from boarding school into a business of getting myself a haircut. You know what I mean? And I was always called Express Cuts when I was in college. You know what I mean? Because I gave a haircut anywhere, anytime. I was getting haircuts before the party, before people had interviews, before class, in between class. But the 1018 obviously came from when I lost my job and I wanted to remember why I was doing this. You know what I mean? The feelings that I felt when I walked home from that job. So yeah, that's kind of my story and what I live by. You know what I mean? I took something that I didn't know was going to be making a living off of that day when I picked up the clippers and kind of saved my life in a way when I lost my job. I was depending on other things to make it work.
What's up with you, man? Let's hear your story, man.
I was just at the bus stop and y'all told me. I started cutting hair when I was 12 years old, 1998. Wow. We in 2019, so y'all do the math. It was just one of them things that it was something that I liked at the barbershop. I liked the environment. I learned a lot with my eyes. I was just doing cuts in the neighborhood. Once I finished high school, from cutting, up until that point, I went into barber school, got my license, started working at a shop around 22, maybe 23 years old. The shop then became a business under my name. So I've kind of been an entrepreneur since before that, but officially I was running a shop I ended up opening my own shop in 2013. It's been a great thing because my parents were very hard workers. I come from a military home, and my parents always instilled hard work. And one thing that I remember my parents always telling me when I was upset at the world was, stop depending on people. Do the shit yourself. And I took that advice and ran with it. And I've been very blessed ever since, because I've expanded to a newer location, bigger place, creating an opportunity for others. I created an opportunity for myself, and also been able to have employ other people to provide for their families. And at the end of the day, when I go to bed, man, it's like, I feel real good.
Hoy mi nena me llama y me dice que quiere acompañarme pa' la disco.
I also do my own music on the side, and I've been able to kind of intertwine the two. Little example is if I'm selling my CD at the shop, because there's so many people coming in and out. Somebody leaves me a decent tip or anything or whatever, I'm just like, hey, you know what? You just bought a CD. And that was one way that I was getting my music out there. It's like they say, you won't work a day in your life, as long as you do something you love. Yeah. And that's just what I'm doing.
So it's funny you say that, because the main thing that Express Your Perspective is built on is do what you love to do for the people you love, so you can build a long and rich legacy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's about legacy.
Exactly. And get this, what I heard in both your stories, I said this in the last time I spoke, is that you should always pay attention to two things: the things that make you happy and the things that bother you and make you a little upset. Because sometimes when you pay attention to those things, those are the things that you're called to do something about. Your situation, think about it. Man, you was cutting hair at first, right? You was doing good. It made you happy. You was cool. You were getting better. Your stuff was looking dope. You was helping other people. Then you kind of got off track. You went to corporate America. You thought that was the way. But then, boom. You know what I mean? That life's twist hit you. And then, you hit that thing that kind of bothered you. It just kind of made you like, ugh. And then you decided to do something about it.
Right.
You made a decision. A strong decision, a decision of faith. Because think about it, bro. Most people are just not going to just say, hey, you know what? I ain't going back. And then with you, man, think about it. The things that really truly made you happy, the things that made you smile. Look, being a barber and the music. That's dope, man. So this weekend, guys, I had a symposium at Northeastern University. And the theme was retreat, rediscover, and reconnect. And the way that I came up with that is kind of the way that I went through not just those 6 years, but even before that. Whereas the retreating piece is when you get so caught up in life's responsibilities and obligations that you have right now that you could lose track, of really who you are
easily
and why you do what you do. So that is the retreating part, and also the rediscover part, because the rediscover is when you have to go back and rediscover who you are. Whether it could be, the culture you grew up in, the family you grew up in, little things that happened in the past that kind of made you love to do what you love to do, so on and so forth. And then also what that does is that leads you, because when you know who you are, then that leads you right into your purpose. So that's the rediscover. And then the reconnect is that once you get that and understand, then the first thing you do is reconnect to those things that you discovered, so that you really have an understanding of who you are and why you're doing what you do. And then once you do that, then you reconnect with all the people.
I remember a moment sitting at the other shop before it was mine, and kind of like looking in the mirror, nobody was coming through, and I was just saying like, damn, I got here, but what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, if my mom came, I remember thinking to myself, if my mom came in here right now and just saw me sitting here with my feet up on the station, like, just, what am I doing? How am I giving back? So I felt like that could have been one of the moments where I kind of like retreated a little, kind of try to figure out, okay, how can I make, how can I express or you know, discover my purpose? Like, what am I supposed to do? What's my purpose here? And you know, with the tragic loss of my father, I feel like from childhood up until that moment, you know, you don't really realize what you're here for, what you're meant to do with yourself. And I feel like since then up until now, you know, I've done so many things. I set so many goals. I always say to myself, you know, it's never too late to make mom and dad proud, no matter how old you get. You know what I mean?
That's what everybody wants.
Yeah,
to do.
you know, and I feel that's very important. It doesn't matter what your age is. You should still set goals for yourself. Sometimes I don't know if I reinvent myself, but I don't try to get stuck doing the same thing. And then having conversations with Ace, you know, putting into the universe, you know, you get what you put in. You know, I try to reach out to the youth when I kind of notice something may be going wrong, and just saying, hey, listen, man, you know, I'm gonna give you some advice that if you told your parents that I told you this, they're gonna be like, yeah, he's right. You know.
So that's your way of reconnecting.
Definitely.
So my original interpretation when you raised the question of retreat, the first thing you said something that caught my attention was that in order to retreat, people have to realize that they're in this mold of normal routines, right? The first thing that jumped out to me was how people have to go to school, people have to get a job in order to make ends meet, right? They don't teach entrepreneurship in schools. It's not first of mind. It's not top of mind, I mean. So I always had this desire within me to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I was going to start. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I always had an idea that I wanted to do something. Barbering wasn't my first venture, you know what I mean? My first venture actually was to do a gaming lounge. And I actually did it when I was in college. I got a few TV screens together, a few PlayStations or whatever. We did that, and I made it work. But, you know, again, you still have to make ends meet. That wasn't making money for me, and I had to go back and you know, keep getting education, go back to work, and do that type of thing. The retreat moment, I was kind of forced into the retreat moment, I would say, is when I lost my job, and I kind of like took that walk and then had to think about, you know, what it is that I was doing in my life. Why is it that when I go to work, I felt unsatisfied? You know what I mean? And why do I feel more purpose to go out on my own and start my own business than to jump back into the corporate world? That was actually making ends meet. You know what I mean? At that point, I think making money took a back step to actual purpose in life. You know what I mean? And knowing full well I'm not going to make nowhere as much as I did in the corporate world. So I think that was more my retreat moment. That's the first thing that popped in my mind when you said that. You know what I mean? Stepping out of the norm, stepping out of what you think you have to do on a regular basis. And then, like I said, when I lost my job, that walk is when I went through that, this is what I'm going to do with my life kind of moment.
Man, that's dope. So, you know, one of the things about that, and I mentioned this in the symposium, that sometimes the retreat is something that you don't have control of. See, my retreat was when I had a heart attack. I had absolutely no control of that. It happened. You losing your job, you didn't have control of that. You couldn't control what those people were going to do to you. So then it pushed you into the realm of having to step back because you had to figure out what the next move was. Right. And what's so dope about both of you guys' stories is that you didn't sit, because this is the other thing about retreating that I have not had an opportunity to share yet. Some people retreat and stay there. That's where depression comes in. That's where now you get addictions. Now you got to do stuff to come out of that. And then what happens is you stay there and you're stuck. But the cool thing about what you guys did is that when you did retreat, you got into yourself, you got into your own head, you had some time of introspection, you connected with what you really did. You just mentioned, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. See, it wasn't about having a business that dealt with barbering. It was just about, man, I want to be on my own. I want to be an entrepreneur. Right. Then you found something to do. So then that was a part of kind of your who, which then led to your what, and then down the line. So the thing that we have to realize is retreating always isn't you making that decision. Now, I'm going to be honest. It feels better when you make the decision because you say, okay, I'm going to back away. Yeah. But man, circumstances in life, man, something will happen and you got to step back. So that you can look at everything and survey the land. On a thank you for having me in your shop. I want to thank you for the fresh look. You know what I mean? And you got me right. I appreciate you. Also, I'm gonna give love to my man here. I mean, your story's amazing. Actually, I'm gonna share it with my sons. You know, because they're at a point where they're going through some of the same things, and to hear your success will take them to the next level. So you add to the legacy. That's why I appreciate that. Man, Boston. Who knew? This place has treated me with such love, and I am so appreciative. And on behalf of Express Your Perspective, man, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and hey, I will be back, and we will talk soon.